The effects of spaces. My themes are nature drives hope, confinement in spaces is destructive on mentalities, and contrast in spaces creates diversity of perspectives. My first theme is nature drives hope. The space of nature affects people by driving hope. Readers have compassion in seeing people's struggles and gain insight of empathy for how people find relief and hope in nature. The first quote is from O Pioneers, and it's about how Alexandra had hope in what the land could provide through buying more and taking a chance, trusting her intuition and belief in the connection and appreciation she had for the land and what it could give. The space that Alexandra was put in was a harsh one, but she trusted in the connection she had to the land and what she believed it could provide. The utilization and appreciation of her space is a way for readers to connect and also try to have hope in the space that they are in, even if it is harsh, and to acknowledge that people go through tough situations, and to have hope in the connections of nature and the land and your spaces around, that they can provide hope. The second quote is from Thanatopsis, and it's about how Bryant is conveying through nature that there's hope for relief. When there's darkness, sadness, agony, the divinity of nature can be teacher of goodness, hope, and light. That there's hope when lost, to go to nature to redeem. When dealing with these hard thoughts and feelings and occurrences, that through nature there's hope of learning how to heal and get relief. This is a way for readers to empathize and gain compassion by realizing that everyone goes through hardships and experiences pains and darkness. Realizing that people have ways in which they share their advice and insight into how they feel relief is a way of hoping to share what has helped them to help others. It's a reflective moment for readers to appreciate the beauty and insight people have to share about things that have helped them, and maybe a different idea about ways to help that darkness find light. My second theme is confinement in spaces is destructive on mentalities. Confinement in spaces is isolating and destructive on mentalities, and readers can empathize with the characters seeing the hardships they face in spaces where they feel trapped and confined. So the first quote is from House of Usher, and it's about the hardships that Roderick faces are debilitating, and he isolates himself in his house. He's confined within the walls of his house, of his family, and of his situation with the loss of his sister. Being alone in the home where he has suffered a lot has caused him hardships and pain and has been quite destructive on his mentality, later driving him to go insane. Readers can empathize with seeing the destructiveness confinement has on Usher and having compassion for his situation and how it led him to be in the state he was in. Having compassion for Usher and recognizing the effects such a traumatic experience can have on a person and how it can lead them to isolate themselves, which in turn can cause further damage to their mental mindset. Empathizing for people's sufferings and recognizing traumas lead people to isolate themselves, putting themselves in a confinement they cannot escape, further damaging their mental health. My second, there's two quotes from Yellow Wallpaper, and they're both about how Charlotte is confined because of her condition, but this isolation caused further damage to her already prevalent mental disparity. At the time, people who suffered from mental disorders were not always believed, and there was not really any form of treatment other than to try to ignore it or hide them away. The lack of belief her husband has for her mental condition is further confining in the feelings when supporting or believing her. Her constant confinement due to her situation is further destructive on her mentality and her inability to escape her space and her mind. She begins to account for seeing strange things in the house. This shows readers the seriousness of mental health and reveals the struggles many face and the lack of empathy and the lack of belief and treatment they receive. Confinement in a space because of a mental imbalance also in that space where no one believes or tries to properly understand and help is further isolating and causes even more destruction mentally. This reveals to readers the seriousness of mental disorders and to have compassion for people suffering from them, recognizing that it's not made up or a matter of self-control, that there are true feelings of being trapped and not having hope of escape. My third quote is, contrast in spaces creates diversity of perspectives. Contrast in spaces helps show the diversity of perspectives and the knowledge that can be gained through seeing something from someone else's point of view. So there are three quotes from Raisin in the Sun, and they're each about what each person wanted to invest the money in. One investment of the money is to make money, to support and provide and have stability. The other is to invest in a home, a sense of stability, finality, and of ownership. And then the last one is to invest in education, which can provide a degree and lengthy investment in knowledge. Here it's important to know and recognize that each person has different ideas about what to do with the money, that within this space they want different things and they think differently, creating diversity. Recognizing that people have different instruments and different ideas of what is best and what could provide. Acknowledging and appreciating all the different aspects and noting that good can come from multiple perspectives and come from each perspective. This reading is from Phyllis Wheatley on being brought from Africa to America, and it's about her perspective about being brought from Africa as a merciful one and allowing her to come to God and learn about the Savior. She's a positive perspective of her enslaving. She's looking at the benefit of it, sharing that she values and acknowledges the positive perspective of what she went through. She shows readers to look for the good in situations, that no matter how morbid and horrid they may be, that there are valuable lessons to be learned, and that through a diversity of perspectives and viewpoints, we can be empathetic and acknowledge. So, my concluding thoughts are that we learn a lot from our own spaces and the spaces of others, that through the works we've read this year, we've been transported through the 18th, 19th, and 20th century, delving into the ideas and struggles of people during the time who put their thoughts to writing. The similarities and patterns found through these pieces still pertain and relate to today, and we can apply them to our own lives and lessons, especially in regards to how we treat and understand others. Thank you.